How you doing, everybody? I'm here. Ignore this. This is Edie Osefo on the Edie Osefo Show. And, I'm just trying to practice my thing.
Excuse me? Why are you in my chair?
Because I'm starting my own show.
Can you get up?
I want to start a show.
Yes. It's your own show. Give me my cards.
You can sit right here, sir. You can sit down right there.
Okay. Oh, I'm just a guest?
Yeah, you are a guest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the Dr. Wendy Show. I missed you guys, but I'm so glad to be back. Happy New Year. Can we still say that? Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. I hope you have been enjoying this year thus far, but I am back. And I am back with a very, very, very special guest. So one thing that I do know is that during Black History Month, I want to make sure I highlight Black businesses, Black business owners, and people transforming the landscape for Black and Brown people. To that end, I thought, why not start with someone near and dear to my heart who is transforming the landscape in the cannabis industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the one, the only, Edie Osefo.
Hey, hello, thank you for having me, baby.
AKA Happy Edie. Y'all, clap it up for Happy Edie.
Thank you. I appreciate
Happy
it.
Edie?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Dr. Wendy Show.
Thank you for having me. I
Oh,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Are you nervous?
I'm very much so nervous.
Are you?
I don't know what you're gonna ask.
Okay,
me.
I'm gonna ask you a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Because
remember we gotta go home together.
No, we don't. You can take an Uber.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But we're gonna start light.
Okay.
Because we're here to highlight Happy Edie.
Yes.
And the amazingness that is Happy Edie.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you, because I have nicknames for you.
Okay.
So do I keep it professional? Do I call you Happy Edie? Do I call you Edie? Do I call you Edward? Do I call you, like, what do I call you?
You can call me, for purposes of this interview, for purposes of today,
yes,
you can call me Happy Edie.
Ah!
Yeah.
All right, Happy Edie.
Yep.
All right, so I know you.
Yep.
And I feel like others have gotten to know you throughout the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But before we jump in the Happy Edie of it all, can you talk to me a little bit about, or tell the people, like, who is Edie? Before the happy, who is Edie at his core?
Well, I feel like most people would describe me as a fun-loving, easygoing guy. I think what most people may not know about me, or may have little glimpses of me, is that I'm a family man. I enjoy having a good time. I enjoy traveling with my beautiful wife.
Mm-hmm. Do you? Because you really don't be enjoying traveling when we be on these trips. You be stressing me out.
Well, that's because you bring our beautiful babies, our three kids, and they take a lot of time. So, you get moved to the back. But I enjoy traveling. I enjoy, interacting with them. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy seeing myself and seeing the beauty of parenthood through our children's eyes. Okay. And so that's really what's, what drives me every day. But also, I'm a learned individual. You're not the only one with 4 degrees.
Period.
They need to put some respect on my name.
Period.
Too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a little history lesson for those who don't know.
Okay. What you got? What you got?
I'm gonna let you know.
Okay, you're doing a lot of hand movements.
So I got I have a excuse me.
Okay.
I have a Bachelor of Science from the University of Maryland College Park in computer engineering.
Okay, computer engineering.
I have a Master's in Business Administration from Rutgers University.
MBA.
I have a Juris Doctorate from Rutgers University.
JD, that's law school. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have a LLM in tax law from Georgetown, the Georgetown University Law Center.
Period.
So I believe if you do the math,
how many is that?
And I got mathematical skills.
Okay.
That's 4 degrees too. So you ain't the only one running with 4 degrees in our house. The people don't know that.
Oh, baby, guess what?
What's that?
What's 4 plus 4? A. Okay, so we got 8.
Yes.
So you are all these things. You got all these degrees
Yep.
that you never talk about.
Yep.
Then with all of this stuff, and you were practicing law, still are.
Yep.
you decide you want to go into the cannabis industry. To me, when I heard it, I thought it was crazy because I'm just like, the cannabis industry, that comes out left field. So tell the people why you want to go into the cannabis industry. And this is why I think it really crystallizes us kicking in the door for Black History Month and Black business owners.
So it's not that far-fetched. Like, most people don't know, but less than 2% of cannabis owners are Black. So in an industry that has historically, criminalized, stigmatized the behavior, with the war on drugs, blocked Black and brown people up, it's crazy that now it's legalized that Black and brown people aren't at the forefront, aren't involved more heavily in the industry. And so when I saw that statistic, I'm like, man, this is wild. But then when they legalized recreational marijuana in 2022, I said, hey, I want to get into that industry. Some way, somehow, it reminded me of what I read about the prohibition and how before alcohol became legal, people were just running these barrels, but now that it's legalized, all these big companies are into it. So I'm like, man, I can get involved in an industry that's still growing. And so I said, hey, I'm gonna get into this cannabis industry one way, some way, somehow. And so when I saw the opportunity, of course, being, a serial entrepreneur, I jumped at it. And then when, people on this, in this space called me Happy Edie, I was like, man, I am happy, I'm Edie. Let me run with that name. Let's make something of that name. And so we, I searched for a partner and found a partner, and I brought Happy Edie, the brand, to dispensaries across the U.S., across Maryland.
Do you feel like as a Black man, when you see Black and brown people who are in jail, who have been locked up, and here you are taking business meetings with people who are predominantly white about a drug that has been criminalized in our communities for so long, do you feel like there's some sort of like, yeah, I did that feeling? You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you guys have held us back for so many years for this, right? And have criminalized us, stigmatized us, labeled us, made it seem like it's something bad for so long. And here you are, this Black man, the face of a cannabis brand.
I do feel...
Essentially, does it make your dick hang low?
It hangs a little low.
Okay.
It hangs a little low. Okay. And I feel like I have a responsibility. Okay. I have a responsibility because I'm in this position to now highlight other Black and brown people who want to get into this industry. They can see me and say, hey, if Edie could do it, maybe I could do it too. And so it's one of those things where it's a lot of pressure because you do see yourself in a room full of white people, a room full of people who don't look like you, a room full of people who may not have been, in those inner cities that were getting locked up, and now they're benefiting from this industry. But it makes me want to be, a change agent. It makes me want to change the narrative. It makes me want to say, all right, now I'm in these rooms. Who can I bring in these rooms as well? Who can I spotlight that are trying to get in this industry? What other brown and Black people who have that entrepreneurial spirit but just may not have the access? How can I help them out? And so I want to be that, that bridge, that changing of the narrative, because we need representation in the industry that, they're not in it.
And I think it's interesting because, yes, you represent for Black men, but I think another layer is the fact that we're Nigerian. And as Nigerians, yes, you have the Burna Boys of the world now who are rapping about Igbo and Shayo, and it's, popular, so to speak, but it's also a stigma, and was a stigma in Nigeria, in Nigerian culture. So how do you think that also plays into it? Like, do you think it's like a double layer, meaning yes for Black people, but also culturally, from a cultural aspect, you're a Nigerian boy, Anambra State, repping, period. So how does that also speak to you changing the narrative, so to speak?
I think all of it is really about changing the narrative. It's about showing a different face to what people consider a drug, when it's really like a plant that can help people. It could be like a medicine. It's people who are going through certain things who can't take, the traditional drugs. And so they look to marijuana, they look to cannabis to help them, mitigate their pain. But if you look at it like a drug, you're like, man, I'm gonna stay away from that drug. You stay away from that drug because you can get locked up. So I think for all the, Nigerians, Africans who, the behavior you see, you smoke, weed, cigars, and they think it's a nefarious thing, or you're in the alleys, selling some things and, carrying the bags and shooting people, whatever. They know that, no, it helps people. When done the right way, it can help people. When done the right way, it can be lucrative. And so you can really win in this industry, but you're also helping people as well. It's not just a bad thing that nobody should, use. It's a plant.
Right.
We see grass every day.
We see grass every day, baby. There's a different type of grass now.
I'm just saying, it's grass.
Okay,
Grass
there's
is
a different
grass.
type of grass. So we talked about Nigerian. So I'm going to switch gears for a little bit.
Okay.
We're both Nigerian. We have our story of how we met and all that stuff.
Yep.
One thing that has been really intriguing has been like our love story and how we got married and all that other stuff. So.
See? That's why you brought me here, huh?
With that being said,
Okay.
now that I have you in the hot seat,
Okay.
why didn't your parents want you to marry me?
See, you said it was an interview about,
Oh, you thought?
Happy Edie,
Oh, you thought?
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is the Dr. Wendy show.
Okay.
We hold everybody accountable,
Okay.
even if you're my husband.
Okay.
Okay.
So, from my perspective, from my vantage point, from my viewing seat, it just seemed as though, my mom and your mom, they just couldn't see eye to eye. I think, in all honesty, it was a while ago. So we've been married, going on 13 years now.
Right.
And so it was one of those things where I was the firstborn boy in the family, the first person in in my family to even get married. And I think my mom just wasn't trying to let go. She wasn't trying to let go, and she wasn't trying to have a strong alpha woman in Mama Sue, for all intents and purposes, will have a strong alpha daughter marry her son. I think it was just a power struggle. And it was one of those, hella high water, I'm not gonna have my son marry you. But it wasn't a concrete reason why. And that's why every time I talked to her, every time I talked to my parents, it was never a reason why. It was just no. It was one of those, if I tell you who to marry, but it seems asinine because we've been married for 13 years now, and we done seen a lot of marriages where parents have told the kids who to marry, and then it just went that way.
Yeah, they went their separate ways.
And so it's one of those things where it's cultural, but it's one of those things in our culture where the parents, it's the families that marry one another, but they, in our case, I feel like they just took that too far, and they tried to get too involved in what it was, two young people who loved each other, who wanted to get married and build a family. And I just think it all started with my mom, and then in our families, these women kind of run things. They make us do what we're supposed to do. But I think that's where it started. Her and your mom not getting along, and then it's just the rest is kind of history. But there is good news because but many people don't know. But over the years, we have began, me and my family and my siblings, to reconcile.
Right.
And so we are in a better place now. Today, we are speaking. My siblings, we kind of went through like sibling therapy, and so we're speaking. I thought that was
so cool y'all did that.
Yeah, we really did that, all five of us. So we went to this therapy together, but we tried to heal and tried to come back together because, life's too short. And so I found that going through the siblings, because we grew up together in America, and so we have a lot of commonalities. And so over time, we've gotten closer, and then my parents, the communication has built over time with my parents as well. And so now the families are back together, and we're just growing. We're trying to, you can't never make up for lost time, but I think we're trying our best to, forge a path forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy. It was a rough journey, but I'm excited and happy for where we are now. Far as, your siblings, they reach out to me, they text me, I text them.
We were at my sister's wedding.
We were at your sister's wedding.
Yeah,
We took a family picture.
Yep.
Family picture right here. And then your dad even came to the boys football games.
Yeah.
So, it's cool to now be able to reconcile and all of us are okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And time does heal wounds.
That's what they say.
That's what I say. Do you have any regrets? If you could do it all over again, knowing the outcome of what you lost, of what you gained, would you do it all over again?
If I could, I wouldn't do anything differently. I still would have proceeded forward with burying you. I think in my heart of hearts, I would have tried maybe harder to get my parents on board. Because you just never know. Maybe the 10th time I came back around to ask for them to support us, that would have been the time that they, that they say yes. You just never know. I felt like I gave it a valiant effort. It was some time. We were engaged for like 14 months, so it was a long time. But, you just never know what one more, ask, one more discussion, one more thing could have been in our journey. But the family that we built, you know, the children that we have, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I'm blessed.
Well, that's very mature of you to be able to say that you would have given it another shot if you could have. Yeah. So you talk about women in the sense of the relationship and how, you know, you were talking about.
I don't talk about women. I don't know what you're
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Look,
okay,
sorry. But you did talk about how your mom, and sometimes when moms control stuff, other people do. Yeah. You did say that, right? Yeah. Okay, run the tape.
You know, in our families, these women kind of run things, you know.
He said that. There's this narrative that has been going around that I control you. Thoughts.
Discuss. That's just a narrative. I think that's a lie. I tell you all the time, you try though. I mean, truth be told, most women try to control their men because, you know, we may go off a deep end, a path that we shouldn't be on. You try, but you don't.
I don't.
And so I think
I wish people really knew.
I wouldn't say that I'm stubborn, but
you are the most stubborn.
No, I wouldn't say it.
But let me say, he is the most stubborn person you will ever meet, and so that's why it's actually so laughable to me. I think that you're Sagittarius. I don't know if that's part of your sign, but like he is so stubborn. Like I could look at his outfit and say, "Ew, why are you wearing those shoes?" He'd be like, "Oh yeah." And if he was gonna change those shoes, just the fact I said, why are you wearing those shoes? He will still wear the shoes. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're so stubborn.
No, but I'm just saying, you try though.
You're so stubborn.
But you can't control me. I'm a man's man. I'm an alpha man. I am an alpha, and I'm an alpha man. So, you know, I think that's just a narrative that people want to throw out there that it really shines a light on their insecurities sometimes when they say that stuff. But I think that, you know, we equally yoked.
I like that.
But yeah, you don't control me. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so let me ask you this. Back to Happy Edie. Okay. I took a pivot. Back to Happy Edie. Okay. Happy Edie, I've tried it.
Yeah. Were you happy?
Oh, very happy. But I was only tasting it because for every product, you have to make sure it's okay. So that was my role. That was it.
Okay.
Nothing more. But what makes Happy Edie different from other cannabis brands? Like, what would you say makes this, like, I want Happy Edie? Why would I go to the dispensary and say, I want Happy Edie?
There's a story behind it.
Okay.
And in most brands, there's a story behind the brand, but I think specifically with my brand, with Happy Edie, there's a story behind it. There's a man behind it. There's a face that you could put to the brand.
Is that you? Are you talking about yourself? You're the man? Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm the man.
Okay, sorry.
So I think because you could put the face to the name, when I walk into these dispensaries and they're like, wait, what's your name? And I say, I'm Edie. I'm Happy. Oh, so it's just not some big bad corporation that's coming in, because that's what it's. The narrative is that these big corporations have come in and they're profiting on the cannabis industry. But when I go in and they see a face behind the brand, they're like, oh, so this is your stuff? Oh, you're from Maryland and you started a cannabis brand? Wow, that's amazing. And because of that alone, they're willing to support. I've had a woman in this brand say, I want whatever that young man right there is selling, because I'm proud of that young man right there. And so for them to say that, and it's usually when you go in these communities, you know, it was a black woman that said it, but she was older. And she said, I want whatever that young man is selling, because he's doing amazing things. And so when you see these people and you're like, they could put a face to the name, it's a beautiful thing because you're actually helping people, you know? And so they're able to feel like they're doing it to support me, a black man in the industry trying to build a legacy, trying to build a business. And so it's a beautiful thing. So I think that, in addition to the fact that, you know, part of our slogans is, you know, everyday professionals who color outside the lines. Because I'm a professional. Like, I'm sure people are like, oh, you don't use weed, you don't use cannabis. Yeah, you know, I partake as well. You know, I may not be the serious stoner that people, I guess, visualize, but I partake as well. And there's many professionals who do use it because we are high-strung, high-achieving individuals, high-performing individuals. We need to cut back sometimes too. We need to be able to quell our anxieties. We need to be able to relax sometimes. And, you know, just to be able to say that, you know, they're supporting me, but we are supporting professionals, soccer moms, parents.
Why'd you look at me when you said soccer moms?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just saying a little bit,
What about making soccer?
You're not a soccer mom, but you're a football mom, So you may need to, unwind sometimes. You're a little wound tightly sometimes. But yeah, you're the target demographic as well.
I'm about to end this interview.
But but no, I think that's why we're different. I think another our slogan is make happy a habit.
I like that.
Like we just want to make happy a habit, and like you don't have to go about your day just being, anxious, being depressed. Like you can really do something about it in a safe way.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing with the brand.
Well, like that Black woman you met at a dispensary, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I think you're doing amazing things.
I appreciate it.
And it's interesting, you just said how you may not be a stoner, but you do partake. So my question for you would be, you have people like J-Lo or 50 Cent who have been listed as people who have liquor brands, but they don't drink liquor. So where are you on the spectrum of your own product? Like, are you fully all feet, all hands in, or do you dabble in and out?
I'm on the spectrum. I think I'm fully all hands in. I haven't tried. I know people, like I said, I've met a ton of people since the brand has launched who really are into cannabis. Like they're down to the science. Like I met a man the other day who he has Tourette's, and so he's into all the terpenes that go into cannabis. And so he knows every terpene, the profile, different levels, how they interact with each other, how they'll interact with his body. And so like there's a science to this. And so I'm not there, but I know what I look to cannabis for.
Okay.
And that's someone who is a professional who does have to get shit done. And so I may need to stay focused. I may need to focus on a task that I need to get done. So I may, do a little bit, or a little bit, a couple of pre-rolls.
Okay.
Do a little bit.
Okay.
Or we're going to a concert.
Oh, yeah.
I may want to have a good time because I'm thinking about other stuff while I'm at the concert. I may want to relax and have a good time. So I know what I use it for, and everyone uses it for different reasons. But I'm on a spectrum.
Okay.
I'm on a spectrum. We there.
Okay, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, now.
I gotta be happy too.
So you gotta be happy. Okay. So what do you think is the biggest misconception about you?
I think the biggest misconception about me is that I don't want to say this, but for lack of a better word, a pushover. Because you're so strong, because I support you, people see that as some people may see it as a weakness.
But the people who see that as a weakness, it speaks to their own insecurities. They're projecting.
Hello?
Because they never have had a strong man support them, and they think that the only man who can support a strong woman is a weak man.
Exactly.
So they're projecting
their
own insecurities.
I like that.
But they have to realize that it takes an even stronger man to support a strong woman.
And that's right.
But you see, they don't know that.
Take them to church.
Because they've never had that.
Take them to church.
You understand what I'm saying?
Take them to
But
church.
if you had it,
They come into
you
the
would
pulpit.
know it. Don't play with it. Go ahead, baby. Since we on other people's misconceptions and stuff like that,
Okay.
are you still following them big booty models on Instagram?
I'm sorry. I would say this. Is this my camera?
It don't matter which camera is yours. I asked you a question. Are you still following the big booty models on Instagram?
Isn't it a commercial break? It's not a commercial break? I would say this. The internet detectives, man, they something.
Yeah, baby.
I had no idea I was following anybody of that magnitude that would be perceived as a person who indulges in the internet modeling booties. So I didn't know that. But the internet detectives brought it to my attention. And once they brought it to my attention, I don't even know how I got that way. Because, when we came, am I talking too much? I just didn't know that these people being followed. They weren't part of my algorithm. So they never came with my feed. And I didn't check who I followed. But once they brought it to my attention.
And you carried the one.
And then I carried and rounded up. It was known to me that it was only a few that I had to unfollow them. And it wasn't because I was, I didn't know them. I don't know them.
You don't know them.
No DMs. I don't know any of these people. It's the internet. I don't know them in real life.
No.
We here.
No face, no case.
I don't know any of these people.
No face, no case. You don't know.
Don't even know. Commercial break.
What are your long-term plans for Happy Eddie?
Long-term for Happy Eddie, I definitely want to expand the product line. I mean, Happy Eddie Edibles has a nice ring to it.
Oh, that's really good.
And so I'm definitely want to bring, edibles, vapes. I I want to expand to different states as well because
We should do Kush and candles.
Kush and candles would be dope.
Kush and candles.
Yes. Look at that.
On the spot, baby.
Look at that business part. I love this. I love this.
I am an investor.
Yes, you are an investor.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
You want to expand to different states?
But yes, we're expanding different states.
Okay.
We're expanding different products. But what I am most proud of and what I want to accomplish in this journey is to be a change agent. Be an agent for change and really try to, because there's people who have been doing this work. There's people who are still locked up today for cannabis offenses that they should be released. It's legal. In these states where it's legal, they should be released. So I want to really help be a conduit for change for these people who have been putting in the work and shining a spotlight on the work that they've been doing. And also just changing the narrative around cannabis. Like it shouldn't be taboo. Like I said, it's medicine. Like I feel like a politician. When I've been on the trail,
Where you been on the trail?
Dispensaries, those pop-ups at the dispensary. When I've been on the trail, I've met a ton of people, and a couple of people stick out to mind, or come to mind is parents who their children have ADD. And so the children, they don't react well to Adderall, and so the medicine that they're taking, they just doesn't help with the ADD. So they use cannabis. For their 15 and 14-year-old teenagers, they use cannabis. It's monitored, of course. The pediatrician recommends the cannabis that they should use. And so it's helping people. And it's not something like you see like cancer patients. They use cannabis because the medicine doesn't work, but the cannabis does. And so it's one of those things where, you meet people and you're like, wow, so you really aren't just getting high to have a good time. Like this is your medicine. This really helps you. And so just being able to shine a spotlight on the people who are trying to get people who are incarcerated out of jail, shining a spotlight on the taboos that should no longer be a taboo with the drug, with cannabis, is stuff that I think my altruistic nature. I use big, like I said, 4 degrees.
Big word, altruistic. That black man right there is smart. He said altruistic. Spell it.
ALTR.
Commercial break.
But yeah.
Okay.
That's what I look forward to most.
Okay. Last question.
Hold on, I got some questions too. Since I'm on your show, I want to flip the script. I want to ask you some questions.
Okay, you can, but can you calm down? Calm your hot pants down. Let me get my last question off.
Okay,
then you go. Okay, please.
Question.
You telling the kids about Happy Eddie. What are your thoughts?
See, and that's a tough one, because kids are impressionable.
Yes.
Well, first of all, you have to be 21 and over to consume cannabis.
Very important.
That's my disclaimer for you.
Very important.
With regards to our kids specifically, they only know Happy Eddie as merch, as t-shirts, like
hoodies,
as hats, as sweatpants. They say, "Dad, when am I gonna have my Happy Eddie?" And so it's I'm like, it's coming. I'm gonna get you that hoodie. And so it's difficult. I think Carter is of the age where I think he's of the age where he may understand. He may be able to formulate what's going on, to have a discussion about what Daddy does. And so I think the conversation is coming.
Okay.
It's just because you give them the tools and the information, and then they go out and then they watch their TikToks, and then they're saying maybe something different than what Daddy's saying. Right. And so just being cognizant of how your story can be flipped, and then now it could be something else. I've taken my time, in terms of informing them about what Dad is into. But I think I'll start with our oldest, and then he'll be able to understand that it's not just a hoodie or a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. Dad helps people with the wellness. Medicine. Okay. Yep. I'm in the wellness industry.
I'll let you guys know how that conversation goes. I'll make sure I have the cameras rolling. All right, you got some questions for me?
I got some questions for you.
Okay, we're going to keep it limited.
Okay, we'll keep it limited.
Please do.
Yes. So.
You're already going to come. You're about to come with some shit. I see. When you've been married to somebody for a long time, you can look in their eyes and you already know.
She's trying to think of
I'm not trying to.
Question. So, some see you and sometimes they think you got all the answers. Do you think you're a perfectionist?
Well, first of all, I think that you're coming on my show to try to take shots at me. Yes, it's very clear. But do I think I'm a perfectionist? I didn't know I was a perfectionist until I started going to therapy. Okay. And I even started talking to you about stuff. And I am so wound tight about making sure things go a certain type of way that I am a perfectionist. But I'm starting to let go of that.
Are you?
I am. I became a perfectionist once we had Carter, once we had our first child. And that was because I didn't know how to juggle and handle motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I had everything down to a science and a time, even till now, the schedule, the kids go to bed, they eat at this time, they take a shower this time, they go to bed at this time, because it allowed me to maintain some ownership of my own sanity.
Okay.
And that from Carter's, about to be 11, has translated into me as a person and a lifestyle. So yes, I do, but it's something I want to walk away from.
Okay. You want to work on it?
I want to work on it, baby.
Okay. Sounds good. Last question. Okay. If you could interview anyone in the world, and I'm not talking about Michelle Obama, Oprah. I'm talking about
I love you.
If you could interview anyone in the world, who would it be and what would you ask?
Or can it be anybody dead or alive?
Anybody dead or alive?
Oh my God, I would love to have interviewed Tupac. I always talk about my love for Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I see him, I feel like even when I look at his pictures, I feel like I see him. Does that make sense?
He's there, yeah.
Like he's there, and I feel like he's such a genius. And when you distill the fact that when he passed away, he was in his early 20s, and he made so much impact.
Such an impact, yeah.
And I don't think if he knew what he knew, he would have done some of the things he did. You know?
That's real.
And I just wish I could just sit down and have a conversation with him.
What would you ask him?
Where do you think this beef with Biggie is gonna go? Like, how do you think it's going to end up? You know what I mean?
Right.
And every time I see the last picture ever taken of him when he's in the passenger side car with Suge Knight and he's looking at the camera, and just for you to know that like 2 minutes later he died.
Right.
And in his eyes, you just see so much worry.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Much was going on, yeah.
Like so much was going on. I just wanted him to just take a beat.
Right.
And I feel like that goes for a lot of us. If we just take a beat, it could change the trajectory of our lives.
I love that.
I love him.
That's dope.
Tupac Amaru Shakur, may you always rest in peace. I love you. Okay, you ready to play a game?
Ready to play a game.
All right. We have a new segment called 10 with Wen, where my guests are asked 10 questions they do not know about, and they have to give an answer. No skips, no jumps, answers only.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right.
Okay. It's funny because your first question is actually interesting. Tupac or Biggie, and why?
Tupac.
Really?
I would say Tupac.
Why? You've never been a Pac.
I've never been a Biggie fan.
Oh, okay. Why Tupac?
I just like the way he flowed. I liked his rap style. It was he was a dynamic individual. I tell you all the time. Tupac in Juice.
Oh,
He
yes,
still scares
Bishop.
me. Bishop scares
yes,
me.
Yes.
He scared me when I saw him.
He embodied that role.
I believed him.
He embodied
that
that
I would
role.
avoid him. Yes.
I really, yes, that's my guy. Okay. If you were not an attorney, what profession would you be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
If I wasn't an attorney, what would I be? I would be a football player.
Like in the NFL, baby?
Like, no, not in the NFL, in the XFL. Like, why not the NFL? Like, what are you talking about? Why would I be, what?
You know what, your body gives football play, your body.
Is it? Okay.
Retired football player. What's your favorite thing about your wife?
No, who put that question there?
I don't know. The producers.
My favorite thing about my wife is that she is caring.
That's all you got?
It's 10 things. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep moving.
Okay.
Oh wait, can we go back to the other question?
Oh my God.
Can we ask again? You said it.
Which one?
The question about a football player.
You want me to ask you again? What profession would you be?
Yeah, I want to ask what profession I would be.
If you were not an attorney, what profession would you be?
I'll be a dancer. Why are you laughing? I'll be a dancer. I tell you what, when I'm in the gym working out and I hear the music, I literally wish I could dance. Like Chris Brown, like really get into it.
Oh, you want to be like,
I
you
want to be
pop
like flowing with it. Like
I
want to start dancing. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the one right there.
Let's keep that edit in there, guys. Okay. You are known as Happy Edie.
Yep.
Very stand-up guy. I always say, I have not met anybody that doesn't like you. Like, which is so weird to me. Anyway, What makes you upset?
Well, I'll say this. It's been only a handful of people who have made me upset. It takes a lot to get me upset.
It does.
So what makes me upset?
Mm-hmm.
People who are mean.
Oh,
People who disrespect me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that can get me 0 to 100 real quick.
Yes, yes.
And what makes me upset? Just people who, it's so funny. People who are rude.
Rude. Yeah, you're big on that.
Yeah.
Like you like.
I feel like I said rude, mean, and disrespect. So I'm a respect guy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I think it's like your inner child. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. All right. What is your death row meal?
What? Okay, my death row meal is
like you're about to kick the bucket. It's time to go. They're about to put in your arm.
For sure. I want to have a full red snapper, like with the head on it. I want it to be fried. I want an oxtail. This is it's oxtail, okay? Yep. Grilled salmon.
You have 3 meats already.
It's my death row meal.
Okay.
We about to eat.
Okay.
I'm still going.
Okay, come on.
And a side of rice.
All that and a side of rice.
A side of rice. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. What is you are insane. What is something I do that you dislike?
What do you do that there's only one answer? Okay, what you do that I dislike is you text on your phone. You don't pay attention in a conversation, and you hop back in a conversation as if the conversation stopped when you like 10 minutes will go by, and you'll come back to so I was saying it. No, I left, and so that's what I started to do now.
Yeah, you do say
I'm like, no, conversation over.
Did you become a lawyer because that's something you wanted to do, or the influence of your parents, or why'd you become a lawyer?
It's funny because my parents wanted me to become an engineer. So that's why I went to school for computer engineering. I thought I was going to be an engineer. But then I met this woman after I graduated. Well, actually, I knew her before, who said, you should be a lawyer. And that was you. So I became a lawyer, honestly, because you said I should become a lawyer. And so that's what actually drove me to go to law school. And then, I actually thought I was going to be a patent attorney.
Yeah, I remember that.
When I went to law school, just leveraging the engineering. But look at
you
me
actually
now.
Give me my credit.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to forget about me.
No,
I'll never forget the phone call. We were on the phone, one of those boo call conversations where it's been like 6 hours and we just talking about whatever. And you got this amazing job as an engineer. You were so excited about it. And I was like, I see so much more for you. Yeah. You should go to law school.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
I was like,
nah,
I thought I'm an engineer. What are you talking about?
I'm an engineer. I bought a house. You just bought a house. You were making big money. You're like, what? I said,
I was trying to impress you. Maybe I was trying to impress you.
Well, you impressed me and went back to school and you became a lawyer and look how your life changed.
Yeah, you changed my life.
Honey, you changed my life too. Yes. You changed my last name.
Oh, I did.
If you could have a dinner with 5 people, dead or alive, who would be at your table?
Wow, dang, where you getting these questions from? Ooh, a dinner with 5 people.
5.
Okay, Jay-Z is going to be at my table.
Okay. You're going for the dinner with Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's going to be at my table, all right? I want to have, this is going to be an eclectic conversation. I want to have DJ Khaled at my table. I want to have LeBron James at my table.
That's a good one, okay.
I want to have Barack Obama's going to be at my table.
Oh, that's a good table.
And the last person who's going to be at my table, I want to say this other person. Can I get a 6th person?
No, you cannot.
Okay. And then I want to have, who's the last person going to be at my table? Eddie Murphy at my table.
You gotta have somebody make you laugh. Okay, good. Looking back on your life, if you could change one thing, what would you change?
If I could change one thing, I think I would have not gone to school for engineering. Because I don't think I really wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
I probably would have went to school for business administration, something business oriented, because that's where I always was at. Okay. And I would have poured more into friendships. Because I feel like as you grow old, it's it's all about the legacy you leave through your kids, but then also you have your friends to tell your story. Your friends and family to tell your story. So who's going to tell your story? And so I feel like as I've grown older, it's just one of those things where you have friends, but if you pour into friendships, and granted, some friendships is a reason and season, so they don't last. But if you pour it into friendships, you may end up finding some lifelong people to tell your story.
I love that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, if you could only give your children one piece of advice, one. If you could only give our babies one piece of advice, what advice would you give them?
I would tell our kids to love and support one another at all costs. Yeah. Because I think as kids, sometimes they go to, they're in different age groups. And so they think, oh, we got all these friends. But they got to know that they are each other's best friends. And they shouldn't make fun of each other. And they should protect each other.
Right.
And they should know that they all going to be best friends.
Right.
So when they grow old, they will stay locked in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Last but not least, what do you miss most about your childhood?
Easy. Just waking up and not having a care in the world. Just eating cereal, eating bacon, going to sleep, waking up, watch TV, do it again.
There's so much to do.
So much to do.
Like
the kids, gotta pick the kids up.
Gotta pay bills.
Pick
the kids up. Who's picking up Cameron? Why are you here?
But you
we gotta go. Come on. Come on.